SEC this morning on SiriusXM SEC Radio and SEC Network, brought to you by Indeed. Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. 3 schools don't need to do that because they have locked into their guy, right? Ole Miss has Lane Kiffin, Sam Pittman going to the University of Arkansas, and it appears to be Eli Drinkwitz, the App State coach, is headed to Mizzou. That's going to be finalized a little bit later today. I imagine he signs the deal. Probably $4 million or so. Bad little payday for those guys. Chris Story, Taylor Zarzer, Peter Burns. It's time for one of my favorite segments of the entire week. It is time for Little Bless the Little Hearts. And I'm going to start. I'm going to bless my own heart as I normally do because there's always something wrong with me.
This guy's been speaking in the third person about himself today. Now he's blessing himself.
He does that.
Peter Burns is going to bless Peter Burns' little throat box and laryngitis. So all week long, right? This is like the ultimate week. It's SEC Championship week. I'm a Baton Rouge born and raised diehard LSU fan. I couldn't do my SiriusXM radio show on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Could barely do the shows on air on television because I had laryngitis throughout the week. And so there I am with Chris Doering, of all people, and everyone's celebrating. LSU fans are going crazy. And I couldn't even talk to anybody. I couldn't properly celebrate.
You missed our Friday morning show with me and Hester.
I had to act like a professional journalist, and it killed me. I got to be honest with you. So bless my little heart for having laryngitis this week, but maybe it might have saved
The good news is you can go back to Atlanta on December 28th. My birthday, by the way.
Oh, yes.
You can celebrate my birthday watching your LSU Tigers. And then you'll, on January the 13th, I think almost certainly be in New Orleans watching LSU play for a national championship.
By the way, that's not happening. LSU has no chance to beat Oklahoma.
No chance. That's the
Jedi
mind trick you're
Very
gonna go with.
little chance. You know, like Rob Mullins said that this defense wasn't good enough. They're the number 2 team in that little fire. Oklahoma is definitely beating LSU. Just want to let you guys know.
It'll
so I'm on the
be
record.
as big a blowout as the Georgia game, if not more.
Yeah,
By the way,
frankly,
I'm telling you, it's going to be 52-21. LSU beats Oklahoma.
Yeah, but how about this?
Going on record.
Yeah, there you go.
I can see that.
Hold on, let's rewind the tapes.
No, I don't know any other
South
picks I
Carolina.
Yeah,
it's going to beat Clemson.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bless your little heart for that. All right, let's bless some hearts.
I'm going to bless the hearts of the Georgia fans. Now, this comes because the bar was set high for Georgia fans. I think you look around in the conference at teams who aren't, the fan bases that aren't traveling as much. Georgia has traveled. I mean, they've been out there, red and black all over. But this week, halftime of the Georgia LSU game, Georgia fans hit the exit. These folks bailed early. Now, that along with the combination of the criticism of Kirby Smart on social media, the criticism of Kirby for selecting Jake Fromm over Justin Fields, right now, how did the bar get so out of whack? The reason that you're even in contention right now is because of Kirby Smart. In year number 2, he took you to the national championship game. I understand the disappointment of losing after 2nd and 26. I understand giving up a big halftime lead against Alabama. But the reason you're in contention right now is because of Kirby Smart. So to bite the hand that feeds you right now, bless your little heart there, Georgia fans.
Bless your little hearts for acting like Auburn fans did when they were happy with what Gus Malzahn has done.
Yeah, that's well said, by the way. I think that some of those people go a little too far and need to keep things in proper perspective.
It might be a small vocal minority, but for anybody,
you saw the empty seats. I think you're right. And they need to have some more perspective. Doesn't mean they need to accept the way that their offense looked this year, but they still were in Atlanta in the SEC.
Trust the guy that's gotten you there 3 years in a row to make the changes you need to get there a 4th year.
All right. Bless the hearts of the Pac-12. Guys, why in the world does the Pac-12 continue to play 9 conference games and play a big-time non-conference opponent? On top of that, they have Friday night Pac-12 after dark games. Utah lost to USC on a short week. And then they have their conference championship game on a short week. Did Utah look like they were ready to play some football in half-empty Santa Clara, California on Friday night? Look. Everybody rips the SEC for playing only 8 conference games. Has the SEC made the college football playoff every single year? It works. Has the ACC, with an 8-team conference schedule, made the playoff every single year? The formula works. I get that everybody wants to have great games every single week, but the Pac-12 continues to get in its own way, and they did again on a short week playing in a half-empty stadium. I do like the move to Vegas. I think that'll be a better atmosphere next year for the championship game. But come on, guys, play on Saturday and make sure that your teams have the best chance to be successful. Bless the hearts that they got in their own way again.
I have to do it again. I hate doing this, especially in the last show, but I got to give you credit again. Peter Burns, you can give yourself some credit for this because you and I were filled in a couple weeks ago on Playbook.
Yeah, on Sirius XM.
We were talking about how things were going to shake out, and you said the Pac-12 is going to Pac-12. You took criticism on social media for that.
Yep.
But the Pac-12.
Pac-12
they Pac-12 themselves right out of the conference or the college football playoff committee's top 4.
If Utah wins the game, they're playing LSU.
Yeah.
I do believe that to be the case.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oregon let it go a couple weeks ago against Arizona State. How did they lose that game with all that was on the line?
Bless their hearts, you never go full Pac-12. Just never do it in any kind of facet of life. All right, I got to bless the heart of Ryan Day, who said, I want to be the number 1 seed. I want to bless the heart of Dabo Sweeney saying, oh, no one's giving us any credit, rah, 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 the chip on the shoulder. But you know what? Here's the best. Ed Ogeron, what'd you think about where the seeding was at?
It don't matter who they tell us to play, where they tell us to play, we coming.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go.
So much. Coach O.
Bless their heart. And again, that's just the attitude that Ed Ogeron's had.
He
all
should
season
have that
long.
attitude. Joe Brady's his offensive coordinator. Dave Aranda's his defensive coordinator. Joe Burrow's his quarterback. I'd feel like he does. You talked about how comfortable and you've never seen him like that before. Peter, he's never had all of this before.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. He's got the best chance to win a national championship.
And they've done it 2 times already in New Orleans, 03, 07, and of course, national championship game. Bless your little heart if Bourbon Street, if LSU ends up winning that game, especially against Ohio State.
You're not going to have a voice the next day for a different reason.
Yeah, for a different reason. All right. What's the one image that you're really going to remember 2019 college football season for in the SEC?
I think the LSU-Alabama game and the way that it went down. I think that all of us wanted that game to last forever because it was so fun to watch. And the amount of courage that Tua played with that day in a losing effort, LSU was clearly the better team. But to see LSU finally beat Big Bad Alabama, to me, was the moment of the season in all of college football.
In Tuscaloosa, nonetheless.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, to do that. I think that there are some of us that still believe Alabama's going to find a way to win the national championship this year. They're going to blow out Michigan, and they might move them all the way up to number 1.
No, they might claim it, but
Right.
no, they won't win it.
We can't figure, for the life of us, we can't fathom the thought that Alabama's not part of the equation.
It was weird yesterday with the announcements and then not being part of it.
But
right?
LSU making that happen in Tuscaloosa the way that they did that day, that was the image of the season for me.
I think, my fear was that it was the boy who cried wolf situation, right? Where we heard all along that they were going to open up the offense.
Yeah.
And they
and
finally did. The year that LSU finally did,
Right.
it immediately paid dividends. And to your point, Georgia needs to take a little bit of a lesson from this and see what can be done.
They fixed it in 1 year. You can do it.
You have a roster full of talent, and you can go ahead and put the right scheme together for those guys.
Yep.
I think the other real quick takeaway was the dynamics in this conference, the haves and the have-nots, a big gap
Boy, is that
between those
true.
two
Man.
in 2019.
I'll take what Lynn Bowden did at Kentucky to my grave as
Don't
one of the
forget Eddie
greatest
Gran.
things. Eddie Gran, you
Do
keep
not
getting
forget Eddie
emotional
Gran.
about it. Elijah Moore and how the butterfly effect of him raising his leg in the Egg Bowl changed everything. But ultimately, it came down to Joe Burrow, a guy that said Nebraska said wasn't good enough to play for him, not once but twice. Yeah. Well, he went on and won the Heisman Trophy. Boys, it's been a fun season.
Yeah.
Thank you. Taylor
Thanks,
Zarzer,
Chris.
Chris
Yeah.
Doring, Peter Burns, Morse Medium. Don't leave me hanging. Thank you for watching SEC. Last segment of the year before we say goodbye. What's the one thing you want to forget about the 2019 football season?
That we were firing coaches in this league after 21 games.
Chad Morris,
It speaks to the level of expectation that comes along with getting paid the salaries that these guys get paid. But it's a tough task to come in and completely change a program in that period of time.
Anytime that you go up to the line of scrimmage and you don't do what has been called by the offense, it's a bad decision. Jarrett Garantano going rogue. However, Tennessee never lost again after that. So he and the rest of the team handled it well, but I'd like to forget that play.
Overall, I think just to see how many people were not happy with Gus Malzahn in the middle of the season going, and it seems like just wash, rinse, and repeat. For him to win the Iron Bowl again, I thought was very impressive.
I still think there were Auburn fans, a small tiny piece of them
kind of want to lose that game.
I wish they would have lost that game.
That's ridiculous.
Which is not cool.
Well, we need to erase them because they don't need to be out there, and then they need to pull for the Auburn Tigers. Taylor Zarzer, not on Twitter, so don't follow him there, but follow this guy, the governor,
Instagram.
at Chris Doring, myself at Peter Burns, ESPN. It's a wrap for SEC this morning.
This morning.
You're not the conductor, though. You're more the clown.
You give me so much hell because you love me.
On Sirius XM SEC Radio.
That's what I love about doing this show. We celebrate all 14 schools.
The SEC this morning. Here's Peter Burns and Chris Doring.
Welcome to SEC This Morning. I am Peter Burns. That is, you know who it is, right? The man that, got identified 15, 20 times this weekend as the governor.
As the governor, yeah. How about
Storing?
that? That was not even, I think sometimes the best nicknames derive not because of intentional naming, but inadvertently naming that. The Hello Governor thing has been one of the key moments in the show.
For those who don't know, let's go ahead and show the picture because people don't know. Just in case they're just finally tuning in, this is what you had to do. You and I had a nice friendly
all you
wager.
wanted to do was try to bring up the fact that you won the wager this year.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do.
We had a wager between us about the Florida LSU game.
Yep.
Florida obviously did not win. I had to pay my bet. And I'm a guy that pays off my wagers. That's how I had to do it, dressed up as Mr. Peanuts / the Penguin.
Yeah. Charlie Chaplin.
Let's say this. In the open of the show, I'm looking back. Well, that was fun. That was cool. We've had a lot of really good moments this year, man.
Yep.
It's flown by, but there's a lot of things that stand out that we've got. I'll look back with fondness.
And then now I'm sad because this is the last regular season show that we're going to do. Hopefully to be continued at some point. But let's get into it because we talked about it. It's all wrapped up now. It's time for the morning trend.